Is it our 21st?
21st, we got together.
And are we saying aloha to Christmas Eve dinner for the Akamine Ohana?
That's right. And this is
And
Auntie
we
Mary
made-
and Akamine.
Louise is one of the 21 grandchildren.
Right there?
And this is
Oh,
Auntie
and this is
Jessie
Auntie
Marble.
Jessie. I was the one that was gone a long time, away from Okinawa, away from Honolulu.
Well, so anyway, here we all are.
Merry Christmas
from the Akamine family.
Merry Christmas.
We
Miss you, Uncle Ralph.
So most of
A lot
you
of
weren't
them-
even born
A
yet.
lot of them weren't even born.
Not even a...
Look at all of them.
Only Jamie was born.
Jamie was born.
Look at her. Okay, you old. You graduated.
But anyway, of course the numbers have expanded, but we've lost some people too, you know, like Uncle Herbert, Uncle Jimmy, and Dora. And in October we lost Uncle Ralph. So tonight, I think we would honor Uncle Ralph. I'm sure he would have wanted us to have a good time. So think of him, but just enjoy yourself. But we have a returnee. Reed, tell us where you've been. Where?
Minnesota.
He's been in Minnesota. What have you been doing in Minnesota?
I'm going to school.
He's going to grad school. So here he's. Hi, Reed.
Hello.
How cold was it in Minnesota when you left?
It's in the 20s. It's not
In
bad.
the 20s. Do we have any good news? Things that have happened in the year or things to come? Anybody got good news to share? I think we have a baby in the family now. Where is she?
Yes, Kaimana. Where's Kaimana?
Where's Kaimana?
He was here last year. But he had his surgery and it went well.
Surgery?
He had open heart surgery
Oh my gosh.
and it went
Open heart surgery. Oh, such a time. You're okay.
I had some.
We have people saying Merry Christmas, sending us messages. Our cousins in Toronto, Canada. The Argyropolis, you folks all saw the picture of Sherry and her family. And Mrs. Donna Priya in Florida, who's really Auntie Jessie's friend. And Kent Barble, Auntie Jessie's son in California.
We're in California.
And Linda, Louise's sister. They all say hello. And we have Mrs. Kanda, who's actually Auntie Jessie's friend from Tokyo, who says, Merry Christmas to all. To all.
Where are
I said Uncle Ralph was always very kind and I hardly knew him. He was very nice man.
That's right.
I remember when I had my front teeth smashed in football practice back in 1972, and I got rushed to Uncle Ralph on an emergency basis, stabilized my teeth, two front teeth. But I remember thinking after the whole thing, wow, my uncle, he was pretty fantastic.
Good. Thank you so much. My sister, Sherry Argyropolis, says about Uncle Ralph, I remember Uncle Ralph as a very gentle man. He was always kind and gracious, as was Auntie Thomasina. And she's right. So here's my sister and her family.
And there's another comment from loud so we can laugh.
Hey, but I don't look like him anymore. I said at one time, people would say that I look more like Uncle Ralph than my father. And I used to get teased, but you know, I just thought, wow, what did my mother do? I enjoyed Uncle Ralph. He was a great guy. Soft. Great guy. Just so soft. Yeah, and he was handsome.
Uncle's Japanese name is Norio because when I was working for S&M Sakamoto Construction, a guy knew my last name was Akamine, and he said, "Is Norio your uncle?" And I didn't know. I know Uncle Herbert's Japanese name and my father's and Uncle Asian's.
Yeah.
But I had to go home, and then my mom said, "Yeah, his name is Norio." So I went back and told this guy who was from the same camp. His last name was Tamashiro. He said, "Yeah, your uncle and I used to catch frogs at the river." Really? Using a red piece of cloth. Oh. And I know from a family party that he used to live with the Jacqueline Akamines to help them harvest sugar cane. And I know that he went to Lanai to pick pineapple. I only know about the pineapple because I recall something like my dad saying during the recreation activities, Uncle Ralph boxed somebody from Lanai, and I guess he won whatever it was to win for the summer workers.
I guess we're sort of surprised because Dad was, kind of soft-spoken and kind of a soft-hearted guy.
That's kind of all I remember.
He always told me that you had helped support him through school, so we want to thank you very, very much for all your efforts.
You're very welcome. I didn't know my money was going to your dad.
But thank you. It went to a good cause. Thank you so much. He couldn't have done it without you.
Well, I love Broadway. And I remember helping your dad when he was short-handed.
This is in his office?
In his office, and here comes Cameron McIntosh, the Broadway producer, on his way from New York City to Australia. He had to have some dental work done, and your dad worked on him.
Oh,
so I had to go up to him and say, "I have enjoyed your shows, whatever shows it was." And he was very gracious.
Oh, that's very nice.
Well, I'm going to ask Naomi to read this. Oh, yes. Read it loud so people can hear.
Went to see Ralph at his office one night. He had an appointment with a little girl who just hated dentists. She was a really difficult patient. So the parents had to bring her to Ralph. Poor child. She was so afraid. She cried and pleaded with her father to take her home, but her infected tooth had to come out. So the nurse, her father, and Ralph held her in the chair and securely strapped her to the chair. Soon after, the nurse started applying the gas, and the child, who was sobbing and yelling all the while, passed out in about a minute. Then Ralph pulled open the jaw and put a small, hard rubber ball between her teeth and extracted the tooth that was bothering her. It was all over in about 15 minutes. I really enjoyed watching the show. Interesting.
This was written by a private stationed at Schofield Barracks. You didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
And that was written by Brian and Russell's father. 57 years ago. I kept that letter. 57 years ago he wrote me. I should give this letter to you.
Thank you so much.
That's only one page.
Thank you so much.
This is the rest of it.
Thank you so much. It's okay if I look at it?
Yeah.
So that's a letter that she read from earlier. I have a story to tell.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I do. He grew up on a plantation on the Big Island, like a sugar mill company, like a Uka Camp 4. And across the street from us, the street as well as the railroad track, lived Chinese bachelors. I don't know how many there were, but every New Year's they invited two families, two Okinawan families, the Ueharas, who had 5 daughters and 2 sons, and the Akamines, who had 5 sons and 2 daughters. But I think the reason why they invited us, other than our mother sold eggs and chickens, was the fact that your father looked so much Chinese that the bachelors loved him and wanted to adopt him.
I heard that. I heard that.
That's what your
Yeah.
grandma told me. That's it.